What if heartbreak wasn't something that happened to you, but something that happened for you? What if every painful ending was actually the beginning of your most powerful transformation? What if moving on wasn't about forgetting or getting over someone, but about mastering one of life's most essential skills? Today, we're exploring Anurag Paul's transformative book, The Art of Moving On, Healing After Heartbreak. And I'm going to show you how to turn your deepest pain into your greatest strength, how to build unshakable emotional resilience, and how to emerge from any loss more powerful than you ever imagined possible. Whether you're dealing with romantic heartbreak, the loss of a friendship, family estrangement, career disappointment, or any other life transition, this book reveals the hidden gifts within your pain and the exact blueprint for transforming endings into new beginnings. Get ready to discover that moving on isn't just about surviving heartbreak. It's about mastering the art of emotional alchemy and becoming truly unstoppable. The book that reframes everything. What if everything you've been told about heartbreak is wrong? What if instead of seeing it as something to get over quickly, you learned to see it as one of life's most powerful teachers? Anurag Paul's The Art of Moving On isn't your typical breakup book filled with ice cream therapy and revenge fantasies. Paul, who has helped thousands of people navigate life's most challenging transitions, discovered something profound. The people who emerge strongest from heartbreak aren't those who avoid the pain. They're those who learn to dance with it. This book reveals what Paul calls the transformation paradox, that our greatest growth often comes from our greatest losses. But here's the revolutionary part. He shows you exactly how to accelerate this growth, how to extract every lesson from your pain, and how to build emotional resilience that makes you virtually unbreakable. Paul argues that moving on is an art form, not an accident. It's a skill that can be learned, practiced, and mastered. Those who master this art don't just survive heartbreak. They use it as rocket fuel for creating the most authentic, fulfilling version of their lives. The most powerful insight in this book: every ending is actually two things happening simultaneously: the death of what was and the birth of what could be. When you learn to focus on the birth instead of the death, everything changes. If you're ready to transform your relationship with loss, pain, and change forever, let's dive into the chapters that will show you how to turn your wounds into wisdom and your setbacks into comebacks. Chapter 1. The Alchemy of Pain. Reframing your story. Paul begins with a radical reframe that changes everything. Your pain is not punishment, it's preparation. Every heartbreak, every loss, every disappointment is life's way of preparing you for something greater than what you lost. The problem isn't that we experience pain. The problem is that we resist it, fight it, and try to numb it instead of learning from it. Paul explains that pain is information, not intimidation. It's showing you what matters to you, what you value, and where you need to grow. When you shift from being a victim of your circumstances to being a student of your experiences, everything changes. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this teaching me?" That simple shift in perspective is the beginning of emotional mastery, the growth mindset for heartbreak. Paul introduces the concept of heartbreak intelligence, the ability to extract maximum learning and growth from painful experiences. Just like some people have high emotional intelligence, some people have developed high heartbreak intelligence. These are the people who bounce back faster, stronger, and wiser. They don't avoid pain. They process it efficiently. They don't deny their emotions. They use them as fuel for growth. They understand that every ending creates space for a new beginning. The key is developing what Paul calls emotional curiosity. Instead of just feeling bad, you become curious about your feelings. What are they trying to tell you? What patterns do they reveal? What growth opportunities are they pointing toward? The permission to feel. One of the most liberating concepts in the book is Paul's approach to emotional permission. Society tells us to get over it quickly, to move on immediately, to stay positive constantly. But Paul gives you permission to feel everything fully. He explains that suppressed emotions don't disappear. They go underground and sabotage your future relationships. The fastest way through the pain is directly through it, not around it. When you allow yourself to feel without judgment, you process the emotion completely and release it naturally. This doesn't mean wallowing or staying stuck. It means being present with your experience long enough to learn from it and let it transform you. Chapter 2. The Architecture of Resilience. Building your emotional foundation. Paul reveals that resilience isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. Like physical fitness, emotional resilience is developed through consistent practice and gradually increasing challenges. The people who handle heartbreak best aren't those who've experienced the least pain. They're those who've learned to process pain most effectively. They've developed what Paul calls emotional muscle memory, automatic responses that serve their growth rather than their ego. This involves building several key capabilities: the ability to sit with discomfort, the skill of reframing situations positively, the practice of self-compassion, and the discipline of focusing on what you can control rather than what you can't. The 3 pillars of moving on. Paul identifies 3 essential pillars that support healthy moving on. Pillar 1. Acceptance. Not resignation, but active acceptance of what is. You stop fighting reality and start working with it. This doesn't mean you like what happened. It means you acknowledge it so you can move forward. Pillar 2. Integration. You take the lessons from the experience and weave them into your identity. The pain becomes part of your story, but not the whole story. It becomes a chapter that makes you wiser, not a tragedy that defines you. Pillar 3. Creation. You use the energy from your experience to create something new. New boundaries, new standards, new dreams, new relationships, or new versions of yourself. You become the artist of your own transformation. The resilience compound effect. Paul explains that each time you successfully move through heartbreak, you're not just recovering, you're upgrading your emotional operating system. You're building confidence in your ability to handle whatever life throws at you. This creates what he calls anti-fragility. You don't just bounce back from challenges, you bounce forward. Each difficulty makes you stronger, wiser, and more capable of handling future challenges with grace and wisdom. Chapter 3. The Self-Love Revolution. Becoming your own best friend. Paul argues that the most important relationship you'll ever have is the one with yourself, and heartbreak often reveals how neglected this relationship has become. Many people lose themselves in relationships and only rediscover who they are when the relationship ends. This chapter is about falling in love with yourself, not in a narcissistic way, but in a nurturing, supportive way. It's about becoming the person you've been looking for in other people. When you truly love yourself, you become magnetic to healthy relationships and repulsive to toxic ones. The Inner Dialogue Makeover. One of Paul's most practical strategies involves transforming your inner dialogue. Most people speak to themselves in ways they would never speak to a friend. After heartbreak, this inner critic often becomes vicious, blaming you for what went wrong and predicting future failures. Paul teaches you to become your own inner coach instead of your inner critic. You learn to speak to yourself with the same compassion you'd offer a good friend going through a difficult time. This shift alone can accelerate your healing dramatically. Setting standards, not walls. A crucial distinction Paul makes is between setting healthy standards and building emotional walls. After heartbreak, many people either lower their standards, "I'll take anyone who wants me," or build walls, "I'll never trust anyone again." The healthy path is setting higher standards based on what you've learned about yourself and what you need in relationships. You become more discerning, not more closed off. You raise your standards for how you want to be treated because you've raised your standards for how you treat yourself. The self-compassion practice. Paul introduces a daily self-compassion practice that rewires your relationship with yourself. Instead of harsh self-judgment when you're struggling, you learn to offer yourself the same kindness you'd give a friend. This practice involves 3 components: acknowledging your pain without minimizing it, recognizing that struggle is part of the human experience, you're not alone or uniquely flawed, and offering yourself words of kindness and encouragement. This simple practice can transform your entire emotional landscape. Chapter 4. The Identity Upgrade. Who are you without them? Paul addresses one of the most challenging aspects of moving on, rediscovering who you are outside of the relationship or situation you've lost. Many people realize they've been defining themselves through external relationships and circumstances rather than internal values and desires. This identity crisis, while painful, is actually a gift. It's an opportunity to consciously choose who you want to be rather than unconsciously accepting who you think you should be. You get to redesign yourself based on your authentic values rather than others' expectations. The Phoenix Process. Paul uses the metaphor of the phoenix to describe the transformation process. Like the mythical bird that burns completely before rising from its own ashes, sometimes you need to let old versions of yourself die to make room for who you're becoming. This process involves releasing outdated beliefs about yourself, letting go of limiting stories you've been telling yourself, and giving yourself permission to evolve beyond who you used to be. The person who emerges from heartbreak doesn't have to be the same person who entered it. Values-based living. One of the most empowering sections focuses on identifying and living by your core values. Paul argues that many relationship problems stem from people abandoning their values to please others or maintain relationships that aren't aligned with who they really are. When you get clear on your non-negotiable values and commit to living by them, you naturally attract people and situations that support your authentic self. You stop trying to fit into other people's lives and start creating a life that fits you. The confidence rebuild. Paul provides a systematic approach to rebuilding confidence after it's been shattered by loss or rejection. This isn't about fake it till you make it positivity. It's about building genuine self-trust through small, consistent actions that align with your values. Each time you keep a promise to yourself, each time you honor your boundaries, each time you choose your well-being over people-pleasing, you make a deposit in your confidence account. Over time, these deposits compound into unshakable self-trust. Chapter 5. The Art of Letting Go. The Attachment Detox. Paul explores the difference between love and attachment, explaining that healthy love enhances your life while toxic attachment diminishes it. Attachment is based on need and fear, while love is based on choice and freedom. Learning to let go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop clinging. You release your need to control outcomes and other people's choices. You love freely, without trying to possess or manipulate. This shift transforms not just how you handle endings, but how you experience all your relationships. The gratitude transformation. One of Paul's most powerful techniques is the gratitude reframe. Instead of focusing on what you lost, you learn to appreciate what you gained. The lessons, the growth, the clarity about what you really want, and the strength you discovered you had. This isn't about pretending everything was perfect, or that the pain wasn't real. It's about acknowledging that even painful experiences can contribute to your growth and wisdom. When you can find genuine gratitude for the gifts within the pain, you complete the healing process. The future self visualization. Paul teaches a powerful visualization technique where you connect with your future self, the version of you who has successfully moved through this experience and emerged stronger and wiser. This future self can offer you guidance, encouragement, and perspective that your current self might not have access to. Regular connection with this future self helps you make decisions from your highest wisdom rather than your current pain. Creating closure. Paul emphasizes that closure doesn't come from other people, it comes from you. You don't need apologies, explanations, or final conversations to move forward. You can create your own closure by completing the relationship internally. This might involve writing letters you never send, having imaginary conversations where you say everything you need to say, or creating rituals that symbolically mark the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. The power to close chapters lies within you, not with others. Chapter 6. The Mastery Mindset. Becoming Anti-Fragile. Paul introduces the concept of anti-fragility, the ability to get stronger from stress and challenges rather than just surviving them. People with mastery mindset don't just recover from heartbreak. They use it as fuel for creating better relationships, clearer boundaries, and more authentic lives. They understand that every relationship, whether it lasts forever or ends tomorrow, is a teacher. They approach dating and relationships as opportunities for growth rather than just searches for happiness. This mindset makes them magnetic to healthy partners and repulsive to toxic ones. The relationship portfolio approach. Instead of putting all your emotional eggs in one relationship basket, Paul advocates for building a diverse relationship portfolio. This includes friendships, family connections, mentoring relationships, community involvement, and most importantly, your relationship with yourself. When you have a rich network of connections and sources of fulfillment, no single relationship can make or break your happiness. You appreciate each relationship for what it uniquely offers without needing any one relationship to be everything. Teaching others. What you've learned. Paul explains that one of the final stages of mastery is becoming a source of wisdom and support for others going through similar challenges. When you can help others navigate heartbreak with more grace and wisdom, you complete your own healing journey. This doesn't mean becoming a relationship guru. It means being willing to share your story, offer support when appropriate, and model what healthy emotional processing looks like. Your pain becomes purposeful when it helps others heal. The continuous growth mindset. The final lesson Paul offers is that mastery isn't a destination, it's a way of traveling. Life will continue to present you with losses, changes, and challenges. The goal isn't to avoid these experiences, but to approach them with increasing skill, wisdom, and resilience. Each experience builds on the previous ones, creating a compound effect of emotional intelligence and resilience. You become someone who can handle whatever life brings with grace, curiosity, and confidence in your ability to not just survive, but thrive. Your transformation begins now. The choice before you, Anurag Paul's The Art of Moving On, isn't just about healing from heartbreak. It's about developing one of life's most essential skills. Every person will face loss, change, and disappointment. The question isn't whether these experiences will happen, but how skillfully you'll navigate them when they do. You have a choice right now. You can continue to see painful experiences as things that happen to you, or you can start seeing them as things that happen for you. You can remain a victim of your circumstances, or you can become the architect of your transformation. The art of moving on is really the art of continuous rebirth. It's the skill of using every ending as a new beginning, every loss as a gain in wisdom, and every heartbreak as a heart opening. When you master this art, you become truly unstoppable. Your action plan. If you're ready to begin mastering the art of moving on, start with Paul's foundational practice, the daily check-in with yourself. Each evening, ask yourself 3 questions. What did I learn about myself today? How did I grow from my challenges? What am I grateful for in this experience? These simple questions will begin rewiring your brain to look for growth and wisdom in every experience, even the painful ones. Over time, this practice will transform how you experience all of life's ups and downs. If this exploration of emotional mastery and personal transformation has inspired you to rewrite your relationship with pain and loss, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. I'm here to support your journey toward emotional resilience and authentic self-love. Drop a comment below and share. What's one insight from this video that resonated most with you? I read every comment, and I'm genuinely inspired by this community of people committed to growth and transformation. Remember, your pain has purpose, your struggles have meaning, and your ability to transform challenges into growth is one of your greatest superpowers. You're not broken, you're becoming. You're not damaged, you're developing. And you have everything within you to master the beautiful art of moving on.